G'day mates, Captain Doug here again. Welcome back to Houseboats 101. In episode 1, I described how we got into houseboats and gave a brief look at all the houseboats we've had over the last 10 years. I also touched on the various materials used to build houseboat hulls and the different types of hulls commonly found in this industry. In this episode, we will get a detailed look inside our illustration boat, a 16 by 80 foot Somerset. So let's go aboard our houseboat and look around. My wife and I love Somersets. In fact, our last 5 boats have been Somersets. We were impressed with the quality of the build, from the welding of the hull to the carpentry inside. It was perfect. I'm not saying you should only get a Somerset brand. That was just our personal preference based on our experience. I'm sure you will find Stardust, Thoroughbred, Bravada and other brand owners equally enthused about their boats. The first area of our boat that our guests encounter is the front deck. You will notice that our front deck has an enclosure around it. It's made out of sunbrella canvas and clear plastic, sometimes referred to as isinglass, even though there's no glass involved here at all. The enclosure is clipped onto the hull by fasteners at the bottom and a track at the top. This makes it removable, although we leave ours up all year. I highly recommend having or getting a front deck enclosure, and if you plan to leave it up all year, get some windows put in it so you can increase the airflow in the hotter months. These windows roll up and clip to the top, allowing you to reduce the effect of wind when you are maneuvering on a windy day, but we will cover that in a later episode. Closing up the enclosure in winter also allows you to heat the front deck, effectively increasing the livable area of the boat. The front deck also has 2 lockers. This one has the power connections to the dock, while this one contains a spare dock rope, handy for tying up at a visitor's dock or even a beach. Under this rug are 2 hatches that lead to the front hull area. On our boat, there are batteries, thruster controls, and assorted other stuff stored there. Things we don't really need to get to in a hurry, obviously. Our boat also has a beaching ramp stored here. This ramp can attach to the front of the boat when we are parked at a beach for easier access on and off the boat onto the beach. Leading off the front deck is a door into the salon, or living room for non-boaters. This is the area of the boat for indoor entertaining. There is also a lower helm. The boat can be captained from here or up on the top deck at the flybridge. The helm station contains all the controls necessary to run the boat and monitor the engines. In our salon, we also have the main electrical switchboard. Here there are breakers and metering for the boat's electrical circuits, both AC and DC. Next is the entertainment center cabinet. On our boat, we have a surround sound system, Blu-ray player, wireless internet router, and 12-volt radio system. After that is the TV and electric fireplace. The next area we'll look at is the galley. It seems funny calling it a galley. After all, we are on a houseboat. Maybe it's really a kitchen. The kitchen on a houseboat will most likely contain all the appliances you would expect to find in a regular household kitchen. There will be a dishwasher, a range, a microwave, and a sink, and a full-size refrigerator. This kitchen has plenty of storage, as you can see, so if you're planning to spend a lot of time on your boat or expect to entertain a lot, look for a boat with good storage. One thing to bear in mind when you're filling your kitchen with appliances is power balancing. A houseboat has a limited electrical supply, so don't overload it. Next to the kitchen is the dining area. If this was just a boat and not a houseboat, you'd call this area the mess, which is what the first mate calls it after the guests have eaten. Our dining area has a counter-height island with seating for 8, or 10 if we grab a couple more chairs. It's also a great place to play Mexican train, which we have been known to do quite a lot. Next to the dining table is a small bar with more storage. We added a portable ice maker here. We mainly use a portable ice maker to get ice made with spring water and not dock water. People have asked me, is it okay to drink the water out of the boat's freshwater tanks? All I can say is that we have made it a habit not to drink the water coming from the dock or the water stored in the boat's freshwater tanks. We do have a water filter on the dock connection, but sometimes the water coming from these faucets looks dirty. That's all I can say. We use dock water for everything else, just not for drinking. Now we'll take a look at the staterooms, or bedrooms if you like. Remember in episode 1 I told you that barge hull houseboats have more space inside because they can use the full footprint of the hull. Well, this is where it shows up, a downstairs bedroom just off the dining area. The floor of this bedroom is about as low as you can go in this hull, and we still have about 6 feet of headroom here. A comfy queen-size bed, plenty of storage, and a vanity make this a welcoming cabin for guests. This boat contains 2 guest cabins. The second one is actually above the first. still has a queen-size bed and plenty of storage. You would be surprised how quickly storage areas on a boat can fill up. Clothes, extra linen, beach towels, vacuum cleaner, you get the idea. This cabin also has a door to the shared guest bathroom. There are 2 bathrooms on this boat, guest and master. Their real name on a boat would be head, and I have no idea why they're called that. Our bathrooms both have a toilet, the head, shower and vanity. Water for the toilet comes from the lake outside, but the contents after use is kept in a tank below deck. Some houseboats will include a full-sized bath. It's a matter of preference, but a bath will consume most of your hot water on a houseboat when you run it. This boat is a side hallways model, where the hall to the bedrooms, bathrooms, and the back deck runs down the side of the boat. There are basically 3 hall styles used on houseboats. The side hall, like this one, a center hall style, and what is called a Z-hall type, where the hall has bends in it. This is our first side hall boat, and I like it. Having the side hall allows the cabins and the bathrooms on the other side to be bigger and make better use of the width of the boat. A Z-hall tries to do this as well, but to my mind creates some odd-shaped spaces as it wends its way down the boat. Z-halls are usually only found on boats 18 feet wide or more. By the way, in the hall here next to the guest bathroom is the laundry. Every houseboat should have some way to wash bed linen and bath towels, and of course, wash and dry swimwear. Next space, the master bedroom. Our stateroom has a king-sized bed sitting on a frame with storage drawers underneath. If this boat was a 4-bedroom boat with a side hull like we have, the 4th bedroom or cabin would be under this bed. Bit tight under there, you say? Not really. To get the headroom required, they raise the master bed platform and have stairs going down just outside the master bedroom door. However, that cabin will not have a window like all the others. Again, plenty of storage and hanging space. Something the ladies will appreciate. Off the master bedroom is, of course, the master bathroom, with shower, toilet, vanity, and again, storage space. Our master has the bed facing the doors to the back deck, which gives us a great view of the lake when we wake in the morning. So while we're here, let's go look at the back deck. It's February now, and winter is still upon us, so our back deck is somewhat winterized. That is, equipment out here has not been moved in a while. The back deck contains 3 hatches, one for each main engine, and one in the middle for the generator. Our boat has 2 5-litre V8 Mercruiser engines driving Bravo 2 outdrives. We'll look at these engines in more detail in a later episode. One of the most important things to consider when looking at a potential purchase is how many hours have the engines been used. When we bought this boat 3 years ago, the engines had 169 hours on them. After 3 years of use, they now have 276 hours on them, which equates to about 35 hours each year we've owned it. Considering that this boat is now 20 years old, you can see that the previous owners only ran it about 10 hours a year. So we have been using our boat out on the water 3 times more than the prior owners. Maybe they were dock captains. The generator also has an hour meter on it. In general, you should expect a generator to have about 3 times the hours of the main engines, so ours should have about 700 to 800 hours on it. Our boat has a 15 kilowatt Westerbeek generator. This is a 4-cylinder engine driving an AC alternator. Again, a more detailed look at the generator in a later episode. While we're in the engine bay, you'll see we have 3 fuel tanks, one for each engine and one dedicated for personal watercraft. The generator gets its fuel feed from either main engine tank, depending on which way the valves are set. Up on the back deck again, we have an air conditioner. This is actually a heat pump, so it can heat the boat in winter and cool the boat in summer. This is basically a residential unit like you could find in any house. However, some houseboaters have what we call marine air conditioners. These types of air conditioners sit under the deck in the main hull and use the lake water to exchange the heat rather than air. My personal preference, purely based on cost and maintainability, is the normal residential model. Marine units will not only cost more to buy, but they're very expensive to fix if something goes wrong. There are also 2 storage cabinets on the back deck. Did I mention how quickly storage on a boat can fill up? Also, a PWC fuel pump for filling up those gas-thirsty toys. Beyond the back deck is the swim platform. Here there are 2 ramps, each with an electric winch. Normally these would hold jet skis, but we don't have any of those, so we store our inflatable tender on one side and a couple of paddle boards on the other. Some slide-out steps finish the look on the swim platform. Very useful when guests are getting out from swimming. These guests sometimes use the water slide to enter the water, as you see here. The slide gets water from the lake using a pump located below deck. Or bypass the slide and just jump in. Next, we'll visit the top deck. It contains an upper helm or flybridge, a bar with a refrigerator and sink, an ice maker, a hot tub, water slide, and spiral stairs. There are 2 ways to reach the top deck on this boat: a spiral staircase from the back deck or regular stairs from the front deck. We'll take the spiral stairs since we're on the back deck already. The top deck is where everybody gathers on those long, hot summer days. The upper helm contains all the controls and instrumentation for the main drives and thrusters, just like the lower helm. Many captains will tell you never pilot your boat from up here while in the marina. But I ignore all that because I like the view I get from here. When I'm backing the boat out of the dock, I like to see everything around me, something I can't get from the lower helm. There is quite a bit of storage under the flybridge, along with a water faucet powered by a pump for washdown. We do have an ice maker up here, but again there's the problem of dock water, so we don't make ice for drinks with this. It does act as a large freezer though, when we want to keep frozen treats and the like up here while entertaining. Our bar has a sink with hot and cold running water. Tank water, that is. So just used for washing and cleaning dishes as needed. Along with the sink is a mini fridge. Actually, it's my beer fridge. We keep soda and water in this handy cooler, stack in a few dozen cans of soda and pour over 20 pounds of ice from the supermarket, and you're ready for the party. In winter, we keep the drink stations empty. We don't want bottles and cans bursting if they freeze. This next strange looking beast is the community feasting table. When we have lunch and dinner parties on our boat, we could have up to 35 people on board. Everyone likes to gather around this table if they can find a seat. You may think we have a lot of chairs and tables on this deck, but they certainly get used with our family and friends. We also need 2 barbecues with the number of people we entertain. Burgers, anyone? I guess the first mate is off duty. Next is the hot tub. People have asked me, why have a hot tub on a boat? Well, if you can have one in a limo, why not on a boat? Our grandkids and their friends love the hot tub, particularly when the lake water is a bit cold. Got room for one more? Last of all is the water slide. It's important to have a gate at the top of the water slide to prevent the littlies from going down by mistake. Once on the slide, the next stop is the water. Well, that's the top deck. Next stop, below deck. So I think it's time we had a look down under the hull, or down below. Oops, I'm going to need to change my outfit for going down there. Ah, that's better. The first thing we see from here is the inverter system and the ballast used to keep the boat level in the water. I use a creeper to move up and down the hull to the various pieces of equipment. Believe me, it's easier than crawling on hands and knees. With only 2 feet of headroom, below deck is not a place for those with claustrophobia. Past the 3 80-gallon water tanks, feeding fresh water to the whole boat by a pump. Past the air conditioner, air handler and ducts. Until we finally arrive at the water heaters. We have 2 20-gallon tanks plumbed in series to give a total of 40 gallons. This is as far as we can go from this end, so to get to the back of the hull, we can enter from the master bedroom. This area is too small to use the creeper, so it's hands and knees. Under this panel is the main hull bilge pump. You don't ever want to hear this running. Next to this is the slide water pump, and then the master toilet water pump, getting water from the lake outside using a through-hull pipe and shut-off valve. The 2 black water, aka pooper tanks, are here together along with the guest toilet water pump. The pooper tanks are emptied by a dockside pump-out system via these waste pipes. There are 2 battery chargers here for the main engine, house and generator batteries located in the engine bay. Finally, all grey water from showers, vanities and sinks comes down here and goes out into the lake. Well, that's it for episode 2. Join us in episode 3 when we will look at the construction of a houseboat.